Good evening to you, viewers. Thanks for taking the appointment, joining us in this edition of the 6 p.m. newscast on Equinoxe television, where we are broadcasting live in the economic capital city of the Cameroon. And today's headlines: reckless driving claims the lives of 3 persons in the city of Limbe, southwest region, leaving many onlookers in shock and families in agony. Some witnesses also blamed the unavailability of speed brakes on the narrow stretch of roads. And also in this newscast, the local authorities in the northwest regional chief town Bamenda have been pulled out of their offices to the streets by the Nancho killing last Sunday. Marching from T Junction to the Commercial Avenue grandstand, they condemned the heart-piercing incidents, calling on citizens to collectively work with the administration to stop bloodshed in the region. Those were major stories. Good evening once again. Thanks for joining us in the 6 p.m. newscast on Equinoxe television. I am Innocent Azem. 3 people have been crushed to death by a speeding truck at Mokunda in Limbe 2 subdivision of the southwest region. A bike rider and his passenger are among the accidents sent shockwaves down the spines of eyewitnesses. Mala Glory recounts us what happened.
3 young men lying in a pool of blood. They are victims of a tragic road accident that occurred Wednesday, July 19, 2023 in Mokundo village, a locality in the town of Limbe. They were crushed by a heavy-duty truck, and witnesses say the 3 victims were on board a motorbike when the truck knocked them down.
See people that sleep.
The population of Mokundo village accuses the reckless driving of truck drivers plying this road. These are workers of a company who transports seawalls. Locals complain they often drop some of the seawalls on the road, which act as a blockage leading to accident. The divisional officer of Limbe 2, Mekesech Albert, visited the area and proposed an alternative road to the workers of the said company.
Yes, we get 2 things. One, may they stop these people for no use this road. Secondly, we don't identify an alternative road with the people that use them. We don't identify an alternative road. Geo says we don't take the people that go there with Geo. They don't go see an alternative route. So one said this will make government help these people then. May they not enter inside the village again. May they not pass through the village with this heavy truck because now danger for life.
This one does not need machine. Let us agree. This one does not need machine, right? Okay. Your worker can come with diggers and the purpose. If your worker cannot do, you just see these people. You see how they are working to procession together. Let's go together. There is no other thing that way. We'll go like this and we'll see the spot together and we'll agree on what to do. Okay?
So we don't know if it was possible. There is an alternative road we are proposing.
3 weeks ago, another accident was recorded on the stretch. The population say only the rehabilitation of the road can put an end to the numerous accidents in Mokundo village.
Let's now take a listen to an eyewitness. He's recounting what he saw.
I read from Desmond. The camion left with very high speed and it was descending. I saw the speed. Some people say maybe it was touching the water, while some others said that no, it was miscontrol. So when everything happened, the bike man, they were coming. He was having a passenger in front of him, the passenger behind him. Then there was another car also blocking the bike man. So as the camion was descending with a high velocity, he happened to push. He was, how can I put it? Push the car, the white car, and the second one. The bike man stood behind and was just observing all what was happening. Little did he know that the camion was coming towards him. Maybe he waited that maybe the camion should stable so that he can pass, but unfortunately, he happened to carry all of them, and the bike went right under the camion. So that was what happened from my own point of view, because I was the first to saw everything that happened. I was the first to rush there, and I saw 3 dead bodies on the floor, right on the car. All that head, they were being chopped off. All. We couldn't recognize anybody, no ID card, nothing. They should put a speed break there so that more life will be spared. Because this type of reckless driving, I haven't seen it. How can you be driving with a top speed when you know that this road is very busy and children always keep on passing here? So the government needs to see into that situation. I'm not crying out for myself, but for the upcoming generation.
We stay in the Fako division of the Southwest region as heavy rains intensify across Cameroon. Those in the seaside resort town of Limbe are more vulnerable. Most parts of the town are inundated, even public health structures leading to natural catastrophes like mudslides. Annabella has more.
Medical personnel of the Limbe 1 Subdivisional Health Center treating patients with their feet soaked deep in water in hospital wards. The entire PMI Health Center and also its environs are totally inundated. These disturbing images have been widely shared lately. From Down Beach to Clark's quarters, the situation is the same. As the rainy season intensifies, flooding in the seaside resort town of Limbe is inevitable. Most areas as at early Thursday were covered with water. Schools and other educational institutions were not left out. Those affected could be spotted trying to clean up water from destroying their property. Besides causing severe floods in Limbe, the heavy rains as well caused severe mudslides in Mawo, a locality in Limbe, leading to the death of at least 2 people. The locals, though they say have nowhere to go to at the moment, live in total uncertainty and fear an imminent natural disaster if nothing is done by the authorities concerned.
A 30-year-old man called Jouées is currently behind bars at the Banjul Gendarmerie Brigade in the West region for raising a section of the family home. His action allegedly stems from his father's refusal to give him the sum of 1,500 francs CFA to compile his documents for a recruitment opportunity. For me, Armstrong Sander reports.
This section of their family building no longer has a roof, a bed, a mattress or related contents. Everything was reduced to nothing by 32-year-old Jouées in expression of his bitterness towards his father. Jouées claims that his anger towards his father was provoked by his father's refusal to assist him with the sum of 1,500 francs needed to compile his documents for a public service recruitment exercise. He gathered items in the room and set them on fire to burn down the house. Luckily for his father, he did not come back home as early as usual. He would have been burnt alive. The young man who works as a security guard in Banjul planned it all to burn his father alive and his entire family building, a plan which got punctured by vigilant neighbors and local inhabitants. He left a note promising to come back in 15 days and kill his father if the father fails to die in the fire incident. Local inhabitants know him as a drunk and violent young man. His mother, Marie-Claire, finds it difficult to believe that her son could go to this extent. I try to give them everything that they want. I feel that my son is being controlled by some spirit. Thanks to the collaboration of his close ones, Jouées was arrested by the National Gendarmerie. He is currently being detained by the Gendarmerie officials at the Banjul Gendarmerie Company premises.
From the West region, we'll take you to the far north region of Cameroon, where the locality of Dokula is hit by insecurity. Children have been vulnerable, as within a year about 20 of them were kidnapped for ransom. As a means to resolve or fight against this phenomenon, the Senior Divisional Officer for Dzamare Division held an emergency security meeting grouping other administrative authorities to brainstorm on better ways to tackle it. Ese Lucy Liango has details.
kidnappings for ransom, burglary and other criminal activities have been the order of the day in Dukula, in the Jamare subdivision of the Far North region. Within a year, about 30 children, a chief, have been kidnapped by unidentified individuals.
Toutes les semaines, tous les mois, on enlève les gens à Dukula, on demande de l'argent.
Many have abandoned their villages to seek refuge in more secure places.
Qui disent que les femmes dorment maintenant seules dans leurs chambres parce que les maris ont fui. Ils ont reçu des coups de téléphone qui seront visités dans la nuit. Ils sont obligés de changer de lieu de chaque nuit, chercher là où aller dormir.
Presiding over an emergency security meeting, the senior divisional officer of Jamare, Jean-Marc Ekwa-Baga, denounced every criminal activity ongoing in his administrative unit.
Ce n'est pas possible. On ne peut pas continuer comme ça. La récréation doit terminer. J'ai déjà le nom des suspects.
The elites and authorities think work done by security forces can't be enough to track down the suspects, but the collaboration of the population can go a long way to fight against the growing phenomenon.
Toutes les forces vives, tous les citoyens de l'arrondissement, chacun à son niveau, doit mettre les mains à la pâte pour que ce phénomène d'insécurité disparaisse dans notre arrondissement.
Among the resolutions taken at the end of the meeting is the creation of a bee control post in Dukula and also mobilizations to strengthen security in the coming days.
The roads linking Bamenda to Wom in the Menchum division of the Northwest region is in a bad state. Business women find it really hard transporting their goods to Bafmen or Bamenda. They say the situation makes life harder in the Northwest region, which is already facing tough times because of the armed conflict. Annabila presents us the Wom-Bamenda highway during this rainy season.
This is the road linking Bamenda to Wom in the Menchum division of the Northwest region of Cameroon. Over the years, the people using this stretch have been going through untold hardship and suffering. Road accidents are very frequent on the Wom-Bamenda highway due to its deplorable state. Trucks transporting food aids to the suffering people of Wom rarely get to their destination and risk hitting houses along the road. Market women who make use of this road complain that the cost of living in Wom has increased because of its inaccessibility.
Now with this only small market road you can buy for Befang here to Wom. See the way with the suffer, see Wom road.
Here we are struggling to do some business here in Befang. See how we are suffering, not talking about Bamenda. We don't want the authorities to come and give us soap, rice and salt. We want the roads to be constructed.
Once they arrange with the road, even travel, go manage bites in the way. We could support picking there for day too.
The people of Befang, Wom, Bafmeng and Esu wish the roads be constructed as soon as possible. According to them, it will also reduce attacks as armed men within the context of the Anglophone crisis use the poor roads as an opportunity to launch attacks, thereby increasing the rate of insecurity in the Menchum division of the Northwest region.
Now, in one of our major stories, the recent killings in Bamenda Northwest region have been condemned by local authorities. This was during a walk from T Junction to the Commercial Avenue grandstand. Those in attendance say only marching would not bring peace to the region. Details in the flow report with our Northwest regional correspondent, Mu Stella.
The early hours of Thursday morning, shops remained closed while traders were expected to join the march in black outfits. The march, as announced by the president of the House of Chiefs, Fonyakum Kervin, was supposed to take place from City Chemist roundabout to the Governor's Junction at Up Station. It finally took the form of a walk from T Junction Bamenda to the Commercial Avenue grandstand. We condemn with all our energy the barbaric acts of killing, and we demand a stop. Let us all embrace peace. We call on government to carry out open investigations and bring the perpetrators before the law. At the Commercial Avenue grandstand where the mourners converged, every speaker condemned the recent killings of Nacho and all that have happened since 2017 when the teachers and lawyers' protests escalated.
Now God will give life.
It is said that God gives life and takes away life.
You don't turn around for this say God will give life.
But now God gives life and our own children take away life.
It's very, very annoying, very, very disturbing. And you can believe with me that as human beings, the bloods of these people will haunt whoever the perpetrators are till the end of times.
People who came to mourn say they now live in constant fear.
Because we don't tire.
We are tired of the killings. As a bike rider, I don't go to every neighborhood.
I think the government has a bigger role to play, and the community and all of us. Because we know what is happening. We know those who are the perpetrators of all of this. I mean, we should talk. We should sit on the table and talk so that there should be peace. We should sit on the table and talk these things out. Honestly, we are just beating about the bush.
Since 2017, different groups have marched, organized concerts to pray for peace. Peace seems to be on every lip, yet absent in the communities, and every day, raves are laid for people to rest in peace.
A talking point comes up next in a jiffy. Stay with us. Good evening once more to you, viewers. Thanks for joining us on Talking Point. Today, we'll be talking about frustrations leading to suicides. In most cases, many people commit suicides because they failed in businesses, others because they have failed their official examinations. And today, we'll be having as guest Dr. Nick Ngwanyami. Is an educationist and who will be telling us more on that. Good evening to you, Doctor. Thanks for joining us or accepting our invitation to join us on Talking Points to expatiate on this. I will first want to ask you, what about the desire to like other great people, confidence, trust, and faith? Are these factors contributing to suicide?
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you again, and good evening to our listeners. Before we go deeply into this, I would like to remind the public what the Cardinal taught me and my students in St. Louis University Institute, Bamenda, about 10 or 12 years ago. He defined what success is to us, and I think it makes sense that I should share it with everybody today. Success, to have success, you've got to like work. You have to like work that is well done. You have to have self-discipline. You have to be honest. You have to pray. Prayer means connecting with God's Spirit so that He can lead you, so that He can guide you, so that He can show you the way. And 6, respect the environment is very important. So you need to be able to do all of these six things properly, to be able to stay focused and to have the strength and energy to do so. Above all, don't trust yourself. Don't trust yourself. Don't trust in your armor. Don't trust in your parents. Don't lay all your trust in the president of the country. Don't lay your trust in your chief or whatever. You must trust God. Once you start your life by trusting God and following his ways and his precepts, and then listening very carefully and helping him to guide you whenever you are in trouble, or not even in trouble, you come to him every morning, every afternoon, every evening, and you stay in his lane, nothing is going to push you. When you are happy, you are with him. When you are stressed, you are with him. Your parents and everyone else are there to guide you, but please don't trust the human person. If you trust yourself or you trust the human person, you are going to go down. You are going to go down. Don't trust even the president of America or France. He will let you down. You know, trust your wife, trust your husband, but trust God more. So this is the mindset. If we don't have this mindset, we will not make it. Now, after having built this picture, We have to now go back to the parents and say, parents, look, what is it you are telling your children? I know that many parents, they struggle a lot to pay the fees. They have seen the children of others, doctors, engineers, pilots, senators and ministers. They also want their children to be ministers so that they can also dance and eat and drink like we do in Cameroon. So when a child is failing at school, what comes into their mind is, we are not going to have our child as minister, we are not going to be able to dance and boast. I think that's the wrong picture that we are giving our children.
Doctor, you were telling me off camera that our educational system is a contributing factor. I would like you to throw more light on it.
Tell all the Cameroonian population and all Africans as a whole that the kind of education we have in Cameroon and in Africa is the wrong type of education. We are running after the wrong antelope, and it's a fake antelope, and so we are killing ourselves over fake stuff. What do I mean? If you want to understand education, education is about training people to understand the principles of life, to understand how things work, and then develop the skills to be able to participate in creation and recreation and solving problems. But our education in Cameroon and most African countries, we are training our children to be tape recorders. They just memorize and regurgitate, memorize and regurgitate. And I will tell you that if I had studied under these kind of conditions in Cameroon, I myself have studied under these kind of conditions, I would be in a real mess. Fortunately, I went to a good school, CPC Bali, where we were taught the right things, and we were taught to be very practical and pragmatic. Our education was solution-based, so we come out from a different background. To the extent that even if you failed an exam, that was not the end of your life, and especially when we say you failed an exam, what exactly does it mean? Because what we are calling an exam is not a true test of knowledge or capacities. Our school system is a wrong kind of school system, which is teaching children the logical mathematical intelligence, and we are tested on that basis. And this stupid thing called IQ is something that came out from someone's fanciful brain, and IQ is a wrong concept. It doesn't work, because that IQ thing is based only on the logical mathematical intelligence, which is also wrong. So if you read the book written by Robert Kiyosaki, Why A Students Work for C Students and B Students Work for the Government, you will get to understand that there are about 8 different kinds of intelligences. All these different talents or different energies or different skills that we learn as we go on. But the worst part of it with our education, even as bad as it may be, is the fact that it doesn't take into consideration the 2 parts to a good education. Number 1, the theory and the understanding of principles, and number 2, the practical application of those skills and principles to solve problems. We are very weak on that, and so we push our children, to cram, to memorize, and then to pass GCE, to pass the bac with the best grades, but they are unable to solve problems. And those people who cannot memorize are classified as failures. That is wrong. They probably would want to be dealing with things practically and being pragmatic instead of memorizing. So we need to correct our school system, and the good news is that the government is beginning to correct that school system, and it has started with the Ministry of Higher Education.
Can parents or guardians read or detect suicide signs in the look of a disappointed or frustrated person and take a discrete measure to stop it from being committed?
Yes, it comes. I think the parents are the best place to be able to pick it up, and some teachers and their classmates. You would notice most of the people who commit suicide would be people who are very sharp and very intentional in what they do. People who never fail. You understand? There are some people who never fail, especially in class, and then the parents have put a lot of pressure on them, so it's like if they are not number 1 or number 2 or number 3, or if they don't make it, the world has come crashing. So those kind of persons, for some odd reason or the other, if they don't make it let's say a child has been first or second in class, and then this big exam comes where they want to shine, and then they're the only one who fails in the school. They're most likely to go and commit suicide or do something very stupid because they cannot stand it. They have been so used to being first that failing is not part of their vocabulary, which is very dangerous. But I think in life we should be teaching children in life that passing or succeeding is not always what is expected. There are a lot of lessons to be learned in failure, and so when your children are failing in life, failing to do this, failing to do that, please don't put too much pressure on them. Don't make them feel like failure is something that comes from the devil. Failure is the other side of the coin, is part of life, and if we bring our children up to appreciate success and failure and give them the same value and not kill themselves over failure, but to look at the lessons in the failure and to see what they can do to correct their mistakes so that they can do better next time, that would be the right mindset to give children. Otherwise, if we think that the children must pass because you spent a lot of money in school and you begin to talk very rudely to them and insult them, you are no good, you are all these kind of things. These are the kind of things that push children to go commit suicide. And parents who have daughters at home too, when the daughter gets pregnant and you're talking to her in a way, she will go and kill herself. So please, never be careful what you say to your children from morning till evening. Pray with your children, build them up, encourage them, and be the father to them. Cover them like the mother hen, give them the energy, the moral energy they need. They see you as a father. Even though you are a father, you have failed 1,001 times. Also let them know in what areas you have failed. Tell them too that in school you never were as good as you expect from them. And tell them how you've been struggling and you have all been going. Let them know that you are also human. Let them know that even Paul Biya failed some exams in school. It's not, when you give people the real picture of life, then they put things in perspective and they are not going to kill themselves.
And doctor, how do we understand that there is a better life ahead and someone takes away his life? Isn't that crazy?
Ahead, and as I have told you, you would have noticed that it's not everybody who passes an examination who does well in life. It's not. If doing well in life was a function of people passing in exams, then you will see that all those children who left the Sacred Heart and CPC Bali, all these big schools with 10 papers, 11 papers, 25 papers, and so on, they would have been doing so well. The question is, if you go to West Cameroon or the Northwest and Southwest region, what is an indicator in the community to show that they have been productive and doing so well? There's no indicator there to show that that's it. So just passing an exam and having PhDs, professors, and so on is not an indicator of success in life. So we need to be able to define these things and understand them. We need to be able to define these things and understand them. If we don't, we will always get it wrong. And so we have to change our school system and make it more pragmatic to say that when children are going through school, yes, they know that they are going to get a certificate, but the emphasis should not be on certificates but on their skills, what they are going to come out and be able to do, which means that even when the child fails to get a certificate, the child has skills to carry on. So the child should not be like, I lost it all because I failed the exam. If we create a system which says you've lost it all because you failed the exam, you've lost it all because you didn't get a certificate, then we have made a bad situation worse and we push people to their deaths. So once we begin to change that narrative and change the mindset and change the way people think, we'll get it right.
There are many out there who are weak in spirit and at times see suicide as the sole way to console themselves. What must they learn today to beat out that evil force?
The person already is weak. It is the environment that pushes the person to commit suicide. So when I'm talking to the environment. Always know that we as human beings, if you know, I'm sure you've heard about the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The needs of a person, there are 5 levels. The physiological needs, the needs for safety, the needs for safety and security. The third one is the need for love. The fourth one is ego. And the fifth is self-actualization. Then there is a sixth one, which is out of the triangle, which is the transcendental phase. If you look at it, that safety and security, which is the second. You need to feel safe in your environment. You need to feel accepted, and it goes into the it trickles into the love. We are social beings. We need to. That's why we always congregate together. We need to feel loved and to also receive love and give out love. So then there's the ego part of it. The ego is that your self-pride. That's why you will see that people are in a group, let's say a WhatsApp group, and then when someone is removed from the WhatsApp group, he feels threatened and he begs to come back to the fold. It happens, amongst drug addicts. It happens among, children in school and so on. As people form their groups, and you need to be accepted in that group. So we have to realize that sometimes we put the wrong pressures on people, and then we push them and alienate them, and that pushes them to the wall to commit suicide. So if we say that if you are not very sharp in school, if you don't pass examinations very well, you don't belong to this family, you don't belong to this society, you don't belong to this class, we are pushing those people to their death, and that's not very happy, because we are taking away their ego, we are taking away their love, we are taking away their security. So it's important for us to have emotional intelligence. We should be able to know ourselves and know others, and know how to interact in love and truth to help others bind. It's very
Dr.
important.
Nick, permit me ask you this last question. How can the educational society or community contribute to confront this recurrent phenomenon in our beautiful Cameroon and world?
Because, like I said, we have been training children to be tape recorders, and so you press the tape recorder button, and what you are expecting is what you taped into the tape recorder. And when the tape recorder doesn't recite that back to you, you say the tape, you remove the tape and crash it. So that's what we have been doing, calling exams. We have not been training our children right. Our school system has not been very good. And if you see 80% of the things that are taught to our children are mostly arts-related subjects, only 20% are science, and then there are very few schools that have science laboratories. And so children most of the things they do is just recitation, imagination, and guesswork. It's not concrete. When you teach the sciences especially, that's very concrete, and then you go to the laboratory, you make it concrete, and you teach children how to solve problems. And it is through STEM education, the science, technology, engineering, economics, and mathematics, good leadership, and proper mindset. When you teach children these things, when they come out, they are in a position to create their jobs, create companies, solve problems, and earn a living. But when you just teach them to be able to go only to Enam and to some of these places and to only be a teacher, they become limited. And that's why our country is not doing very well. That's why with this thing that the president has put in place called import substitution, I'm sure you've heard about it, it's about us creating our industries to be able to make the things that we need, and therefore, for this to happen, we need to go back into the lab, into our think tank, and come up with a school system which allows children to be as creative and as productive as the Chinese, the Singaporeans, the Indians, the Germans, the Israeli, and the Japanese. If we don't do that, then we'll continue to be beggar. As long as we keep on importing rice and fish, it's an indicator that our school system has failed.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Nick Ngwanyam, for accepting our invitation. I recall you are an educationist. And to your viewers, I want to thank you as well for being part of this edition of the 6 p.m. news and also Talking Points. We're hoping that you join us tomorrow, same time. Once again, have a nice evening and stay put to interesting programs on Equinoxe Television. Bye-bye.